friends. Welcome back to another Pick a Card reading. I'm JP, and this is Junodrome Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. Huge thanks to all of my new subscribers. Thank you. I'm so appreciative, and all of my old ones. If you like my videos, please subscribe. It really does help. So today we're going to be doing what can you expect in the next 7 days? So this is going to be pretty straightforward. Each reading is going to give a little bit of what you can expect for the week. So this isn't necessarily just when I post it, it's whenever this video is finding you. So if you're clicking on this and it's been a year, 2 years, however long, a few months since I posted, this will still be relevant to you and your life and whatever the next 7 days from this day forward. 7 days. Like, what can you expect coming into your life? So we have 4 piles for you to choose from here. I have pile number 1 with this pencil drawing, pile number 2 with this goldfinch, pile number 3 with this hummingbird, and pile number 4 with this night lily. I believe that's what this is, some kind of night plant. So anyway, if you go down to the description section of this video now, you can find a link to your reading, and it will give you the what to expect from the next 7 days. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Like I said, if you are new to the channel or if you've been watching and you haven't yet, please subscribe. It really does help. And if you'd like a private reading from me, they are available on the website. You can find that at junodrome.com. Anyway, without further ado, here is your reading. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be the reading for what can you expect within the next 7 days. Pretty exciting stuff here. I haven't actually done this reading yet, so I'm excited to give this to you. I'm trying to find some readings that people tend to do and try to give you some great messages here. So we've got a bunch of tarot cards for you, and then I've got one card from the Herbal Tarot. I don't normally peek at my cards, but I peeked at that one because it has an herbal remedy or sort of an herb that associated with the card as well, and I wanted to look it up in my little herb guide book so I can read you a little bit about some of the medicinal qualities of that herb in case you were interested, and it'll probably inform on the reading. So you chose the pile with this pencil drawing of a flower, and to me right away I take that personally to mean that they're like you are the artist of your own life, basically. Like you are in control of drawing the life that you'd like. And within the next 7 days, you just based on this card, I'm thinking that you're going to have the opportunity to really take stock about what's going on in your life and make active decisions to draw in the life that you'd like. You'll be given opportunities as you move through your week to take an active role in your life and draw in the things that you'd like to be there, right? And whenever we create things in our own lives, if we're trying to make big changes, remember that takes time and that takes energy and it takes momentum and all of that. So um, there's a lot that we can't, there's a lot that's difficult to manifest within a week, but we can set the seeds to start that journey any moment. And so I think that this week there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to start doing that. So there's a quote on the back of this card that I will read at the end of the reading, just because I like to capstone the book or the readings with that. So first off, we've got 3 cards from the Smith-Waite deck. We've got the Ace of Swords, we've got the Page of Cups, and we've got the 9 of Pentacles. Wow. So this week, the next 7 days are bringing in an energy of a new beginning. You're definitely at a point where you have the ability to create something new, and it's a new beginning because both the aces and the pages tend to talk about new starts. The pages are sort of they're just starting out in their journey in the royal suit. So they've got that kind of student energy, beginner energy. And then the aces are the very first card in each suit. And so when an ace shows up, it really talks about beginning something, starting something new, being at the first moment of things. So with it being both in the swords and the cups here, the swords are all about the mind, the mental body, our thoughts, the thought sphere. And they can talk about, the Ace of Swords can talk about having a new idea. It can talk about a new perspective in order to move forward. And it can also talk about cutting things out of our lives, removing things that are no longer serving us, getting rid of old patterns, places, things that just don't work in our lives anymore, and not being afraid to let some things go so that you can have that new beginning. And then with the Page of Cups, it talks about sort of this this new beginning in your emotions, following your heart, being able to understand a loving and compassion, watery, nurturing place within you, and opening yourself up to that. And so, this is a very good combination for being able to get a new way of thinking that allows you to be more compassionate to yourself and others potentially, and being open to creating something new that can really help bring you forward. Um, so with that in combination of this, like, really writing your own destiny, I feel like it's like you're going to be opening yourself up to a new perspective that allows you to actually start following your passions and your drives. And maybe where in the past you've just been thinking about things for a long time, or just ruminating on it, wishing you could do certain things. This week I feel like, even though we don't necessarily have the wands card here, and I feel like this week is going to give you an opportunity to start writing those into your life, right? Writing it into the script that is your day-to-day existence. You're going to have the opportunity to start really making something happen, and this could be an artistic pursuit. You could actually be drawing here with that, but it doesn't have to be. That's a very limited. It could be anything, any kind of creative pursuit, or any kind of thing that you want to bring into your life, and create. And I feel like it's going to take this change of mind. And with the Nine of Pentacles here, I see that it's being abundant as well, and being in the energy of abundance, because the Nine of Pentacles, she's this very abundant person. You can see she's basking in her own private garden where she's really enjoying herself. She's got her bird there that she's just like in love with, and she's got all of these abundant pentacles behind her. So, but you will notice though that she is on her own, and that's one big importance of this Nine of Pentacles card, is that sometimes it takes going off on your own in order to really, bring in the things that you need and want for yourself. So it's like she had to kind of let some people go and let some things go with that Ace of Swords energy in order to find her own love and happiness. And she wasn't, maybe it was hard at first. It's always hard to let go of people, places, things that aren't working, and it's like you don't want to cause drama, or you don't want to cause pain in other people, but at the same time it's like you are the one who's living your life, and it shouldn't be up to you necessarily to push somebody else forward. It's like it's not necessarily your responsibility to be somebody else's everything. Like, that's not really fair. That's kind of a codependent thing, which i'm I know I'm personally guilty of falling into a lot, and many of us are, where it's like we feel like we need to be needed, and so we make ourselves completely available to other people, and sometimes that comes at a sacrifice of our own self, and that makes it all the harder to escape from that, and then you have other people who gain these expectations from you, and it's really hard for you to leave those expectations behind when you've kind of been in that, right? So what's different about the nine of this is the Nine of Pentacles. I hope I wasn't saying eight, but what's different about the Nine of Pentacles is that she is not afraid to just go on it on her own, and she's more comfortable being alone and having everything that she wants than being around people who don't allow her to live the life that she wants for herself, and she's okay with that, and because of that she's really happy. um, that's a really difficult place to go to if you're not used to doing that, because it can seem really selfish. But sometimes it's important to prioritize yourself and your own happiness in certain situations. Um, and obviously, like, I'm not telling you to like leave your kids if you're a parent. If you have major responsibilities in your life that are deeply important on the grand cosmic scheme, like keep those. I'm not saying you need to let go of those. Like, no, not at all. But, if you're in some friend groups where, a bunch of people don't really care about you, and they just want you to do things for them, then that's not really a comfortable, beneficial situation for everybody, right? So it's up to you to be able to discern those things and move out of situations that really are not good. And by doing that, by prioritizing yourself like that, you might actually end up finding yourself surrounded by people who actually do match with what you want for yourself, and they want the same things. But if you don't take the time to prioritize that, it becomes all the more difficult to actually build a life that you want. And where I feel that this 7-day period that's coming up here is going to give you the tools in order to be able to write this. It's like sometimes you have to have a clean slate in order to draw something new, right? Like you can't draw this flower picture on a paper if it's already covered with something else. So, sometimes you got to erase or flip the page and move into something different. And I feel like you have kind of a page turn moment here that's allowing you to move in that direction. So we've got 3 cards now from the 1JJ Swiss deck. This is one of my favorite decks. It's actually one that I learned I, when I learned tarot. I got a book of tarot that was just like a fun little book from the 70s, and it just so happened to have this deck in it. And when I worked at a thrift store, I happened to find this deck, 10 of Pentacles. Oh, wow. And so it's pretty great. Oh, 10 of Wands. Oh, wow. Oh, that is a very clear message. And we have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, so anyway, this is a great deck. But moving forward, wow. so yeah, this is just very much in line with everything that I've just been talking about. So you kind of have a choice this week of how you want to move through things, right? It's like you can move towards the 10 of Pentacles. It's cool you have both the 9 and the 10 of Pentacles here. That's very abundant energy. I mean, the 10 of Pentacles is literally the ultimate abundance card. But we can think of it, like I said, you can't get everything, you can't have the culmination in a split second, as much as we can imagine that. And that's kind of our power. Imagination has the ability to create anything within our minds. Um, it takes time to actually build and create that in the physical world, which is fine. It's fine to take time. And in fact, I think that life itself is one giant lesson in patience, right? It's like we constantly have to learn how to be patient, and that's not always an easy thing. But to have both of them here is like the moves that you're going to make this week, if you so choose, are really moving towards that abundant energy. So it's like really choosing yourself in order to make some really abundant things happen. But in order to do that, in order to choose this 10 of Pentacles, you have to let go of the 10 of Wands, which is a tough energy to be in. The 10 of Wands means being burdened by things, right? It's normally depicted as a man who's got these 10 wands on his back, and he is trudging through the environment, stuck with all of these wands on his back, and he can barely move anymore because it's just too much for one person to carry. But what's kind of fun about this card a lot is like it's normally there's like a village in the background, and it's like there's this idea where there's that village back there that maybe there's somebody back there that you could go and ask to take some of these wands from you. And it might just be that it's your own internal dialogue. Remember, I said you need to change your perspective in order to move forward here. It might be your own internal dialogue that's keeping you saddled with those burdens, right? It's like you think that you are responsible for all of these things. It doesn't mean that from an objective standpoint you actually are. It's just that you feel that way, when in reality, if you allowed yourself to go and ask for help from certain people or ask for something from someone, you might actually gain, like somebody else might be so happy to take that from you, and actually you might create some kind of friendship and connection from that. And who knows, so it's like you might feel like you have to carry all of these burdens, but in reality you don't. In reality, like some of these burdens can be equally carried by others, and you're being encouraged to do that work and let some things go. Maybe some things are things that nobody needs to carry, right? And you're just carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders because you feel that that's what you're supposed to be doing, when in reality, you don't actually have to be doing that. So keep that in mind, that there are certain things in your life that you can let go of. And we have the Knight of Cups here, which is really great because to me, I always symbolize the knights as sort of like what is the movement that's happening in the reading, like where's the energy going. And for it to be in the Knights there, it's really talking about this idea that, um, you have the ability to move towards your own happiness, right? Because it's the cups again. Um, the energy that's moving in this reading is moving towards your sense of fulfillment and your sense of happiness. So this week, you're being given the tools and the choices and the steps to start walking towards the things that truly make you happy in life, and start walking away from the things that don't work. And it's going to be up to you to see the signs this week and just be open to it. Be open to learning, like, okay, I am ready to let go of certain things. Maybe at the moment I don't know what those things are, but I'm opening myself to the universe, to my guides, to whoever I look to, or just to myself, to start to see, my subconscious, whatever, to start to see, okay, subconscious, help me see the things that I can actually let go of, because maybe I don't know consciously, and I'm ready to think about it. I'm ready to think about what I can let go of. I'm ready to walk away from certain things. I'm ready to entertain a new understanding of things. So help me make that happen, right? So we've got 3 more tarot cards, and then we've got one final tarot card that also has an herb on it that I'm going to read about from a book. So we've got the 10 of Cups. Oh my gosh. Wow. Pile number 1, you have 3 tens. That, not only are we talking about a new beginning, but we're also talking about a major, major conclusion, because the 10 is the final card of the suit. So to have 3 tens, let's keep looking. Oh my God. Okay. You have 4 tens. You've got the 10 of Pentacles twice. That is insane. And you got the Ace of Swords. So you got the Ace of Swords twice too. I don't even know. Wow. Wow. This is pretty incredible. I don't, like I told you, I don't read these cards before I pull. I just pull what I pull. That's incredible. So you have 4 tens. We don't have the 10 of wands. No, we do. We don't have the 10 of swords, which is a good thing, because the 10 of swords is this very dramatic card that talks about feeling incredibly defeated. So that's good. You don't have that defeated energy here. We have a double of the 10 of Pentacles, so you really are, you're finding this ultimate abundance. So you're going to be in the flow of ultimate abundance, or the flow towards ultimate abundance. And maybe you actually are. Maybe some of you are just like, nope, I've reached my culmination here, which is possible. Anybody can be watching this reading, but I feel like for a lot of people, this is just like, no, this is the energy that you can take with you. Moving forward, and that this week is going to open up to you, is this energy of being in abundance, right? And I got a bee flying outside, so just, that's some worker bee symbolism. Just keep that in mind, that you're working really hard, and you have to work really hard at gaining abundance, right? It takes a lot of energy and time and effort and thought and action. But if you're willing to put in that work, you can build anything in your life. You're capable of anything in this lifetime. And I think that's important to remember. I think that open, with this new perspective, because that's coming up twice as well, this new thought process that's coming in, it needs to be a process where you imagine anything possible for yourself, and you're willing to do the work to get there, right? It's twofold. Maybe you've been in that mindset before, where you're like, oh my gosh, I can make anything happen. And then maybe because things haven't manifested in your life immediately, you've kind of fallen into a little bit of a pessimism mindset sometimes, where you're like, well, I don't see any effort and any evidence of it, so maybe it's not even going to ever come here. I think that this week is going to give you the opportunity to finally let that go and say, you know what? Regardless of whether I'm seeing the result right now, I have faith in myself enough to know that I am capable of anything. And even if this is going to take me the next year, the next 2 years, the next 5 years, the next 20 years, whatever, this is going to take a lifetime to build, because the 10 of Pentacles as well can talk about lifetime building, and actually even intergenerational wealth. So it's like, not just building for yourself, but building for future generations of your family as well, or of humanity. I think as we move forward in. Hey, friends, sorry, got cut off frequent occurrence with my new equipment, but you know what? That's fine. It looks great. So, anyway, I was talking about intergenerational wealth and how the Ten of Pentacles can actually talk about that. And, I was also kind of talking about the fact that I feel like as we move forward, there's more and more of a pan-human sentiment that's taking forth. How can we look after ourselves all together? How can we look after ourselves as global citizens? How can we look after our planet? And so I feel like, not only will you be utilizing, how can I build a beautiful life for myself here in this ultimate abundance, but how can we make that sustainable for this planet? And so definitely keep that in mind as you're building whatever you're building, that we have the ability together, the harder that we work, those of us who are gaining power, gaining influence, gaining money, gaining whatever in this world, as we build these things, as we work to do that, keep in mind, like, how can we do this in a way that's sustainable for our planet? How can we do this in a way that's, bringing good to our fellow species? And we have the ability to do that. There's nothing telling us that we can't. It's just a matter of what we've learned and how we've learned how we're supposed to use money, and how we've learned, even to imagine what we want. But, it doesn't have to be just physical stuff. We could be building a sense of happiness and fulfillment by, donating money and building schools and building infrastructure and building, supporting the arts and, all of these things we could do. Imagine what you could do if you had ultimate abundance, and keep that in mind as you move through the world, and you move into this energy more. So our final card comes from the Herbal Tarot, and it is the Four of Wands, which can talk about homecoming. So it's coming home to yourself. So ultimately, I feel like what this week is bringing you the next 7 days is a sense of this abundance. As you move into this abundant energy, as you let go of things that aren't serving you, you're going to feel like you're coming home to yourself more. And on this is the fennel seed. We've got fennel, the fennel plant here, associated with home. I'm going to read from my book here. I'm using this as an excuse to learn more about herbal magic and stuff. It's something I've been looking to get into. So we have Magic and Medicine of Plants, this fun little Reader's Digest book that I got at a bookstore. Let me find the page with the fennel. No, that's not it. Sorry. Here we go. Fennel. The licorice-flavored fennel was in great demand during the Middle Ages. The rich relished the seeds to add zest to fish and vegetable dishes, while the poor reserved it as an appetite suppressant to be eaten on fast days. Because fennel was supposed to be magically beneficial, householders hung it over their doors to repel evil spirits. Ooh, that's fun. I found wild fennel a bunch. That's cool to know. According to the Roman naturalist Pliny, snakes sought out fennel to sharpen their sight after shedding their skin, and ancient doctors, acting perhaps upon this observation, prescribed an extract of the root as a treatment for cataracts, and the whole plant was a remedy for blindness. Herbalists still recommend a tea made from crushed fennel seeds, because we had the fennel seeds here, as an eye wash and also as a remedy for stomach ache and cramps. Fennel is also reported to relieve flatulence, to help loosen phlegm, and to promote lactation. Interesting. Originally a Mediterranean plant, fennel was introduced into North America by Spanish priests, and it still grows wild around their old missions. It was also brought by the English to the early settlements in Virginia and may be seen today in the gardens of colonial Williamsburg. So interesting. Fennel is basically used as a culinary herb. Its seeds are added to fish and other dishes. The shoots and stalks of the cultivated variety are eaten both raw and cooked. Herbalists, as well as scientific evidence, attest to the plant's antispasmodic properties. A tea made from its crushed seeds is used to treat indigestion and cramps. So if you need some indigestive help or some cramps help, it will help you this week. So I don't know, keep that in mind. Maybe you want to look into fennel this week. So anyway, pile number 1, I'm going to just about leave you there. We've got one more thing here. The quote from the back here is, Create something beautiful. Yes. So as you move through this week, you will have the opportunity in the next 7 days to create something truly beautiful in your life. So take that energy and run with it. That is an amazing thing. Anyway, pile number one, thank you so much for tuning in to this reading. If you would like a private reading with me, I do have them available on the website at www.junodrum.com. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It really, really does help me out. And we have an Instagram as well that I've gotten really good at regularly posting things to. You can find that at Juno Drum Tarot. I do a little card of the day as well as some blurbs advertising these videos. So check that out as well. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Pile number one. If you have any comments for me, feel free to leave them below. I love hearing from everybody. And thanks to all the new viewers. Yay. Anyway, catch you later. Bye. Hi there, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be a reading on what to expect over the next 7 days. So it's going to be a pretty open, straightforward reading. We're going to be asking what are some things that you can expect to come into your life within the next 7 days, and yeah, what can happen. So there's a fly buzzing around my face. So just if anything comes into your life over the next week that is sort of like a minor annoyance, definitely don't let it get the best of you. That's kind of how I interpret fly symbols a lot, so keep that in mind. Some things are little pests when they don't need to be, right? We don't need to make something out of a molehill, mountains out of molehills, right? So it's like if something's not so great, like that's okay. You have the ability to move out of it. So just keep that as a little side message. We'll see the cards to see what they have to say. But I mean, you have a lot of great things coming too, because we have the first card, which is the goldfinch, and there's a quote on the back that we're going to read kind of at the end. But what's cool about the goldfinch symbol is it's all about creativity. It's about prosperity. It's about abundance and being in a creative spark towards the sun. They can represent sunlight. So really beautiful, powerful imagery. So when you have the choice this week, I think the next 7 days you're going to be given the choice, right, to be open to how you perceive your life and your environment. So is something happening to you that maybe isn't that great? Maybe. But is something else happening to you that's incredible? Yes, maybe. So you have the choice of what to pay attention to, right? It's like there's only so much attention that you have to give. So many you only have so many F's to give, quote unquote F, you know what I mean? You only have so many to give out at one time, and so it's up to you to say like, okay, well, what do I care about? What do I actually want to bring into my life? What is something that maybe is annoying but doesn't have to take over everything? So we've got that opening statement here. Let's take a look at some of your tarot cards here. The first 3 cards come from the Smith-Waite deck, and we've got the World. Wow, yeah. We've got, okay, yes. All right, we're lining up with this. 5 of Wands, and we've got the King of Swords. Yep, so this is really confirming everything we've just said. I love it when that happens. It's like these messages, they're coming from not just me. That's what I love about tarot. So interesting. So, let's dive into this, right? So we've got the World card here. So you are at this sort of graduation moment in your life. The World can talk about moving on to the next phase of things. It's talking about moving on and moving up, right? Something maybe has come to a close and you're ready to graduate into the next level of something. It can talk literally about graduation, but it can talk about as well of like really coming, not just a completion of things, but sort of moving into a new cycle. And it's kind of implying like it's a step up. So it's not just a new cycle, but it's moving up. But in order to do this, I feel like it's like the next 7 days are bringing you the opportunity to do that, but it's almost like you have the final boss here, right? In a video game, you have to take care of the final boss before you can move on to the next level or something like that. I don't actually play video games, so I'm assuming that's true. You could comment below if it's not. But anyway, so it's interesting that you have the 5 of Wands here, because the Five of Wands talks about being stuck in a battle, right? It's being in the thick of a fight where nobody is on the up and up here, right? It's like everybody is equally matched and they're just fighting each other, and it's this like massive fight and no one winner is there. It's just never going to get out of that fight mode, right? And I'm not saying it's never going to end, but that's kind of what the energy of this card is. But in order to get to this world here, you know, it's going to take you saying, okay, I see this struggle, I see this fight. Like with that fly, it's totally the same thing, right? The fly is there to sort of trigger you into being in that. I don't necessarily like this terminology, but I'll use it just as a way to describe this, that lower vibrational energy, right? Like, what does that mean? So, what I mean by that is like, it's that sort of lowest common denominator energy. Maybe we'll put it that way. Like like sometimes it's really easy to I don't want to say be lazy, but you know what I mean, where it's like sometimes it's easier to just kind of be in that like, oh, they're coming at me and they're fighting me. I'm going to just match their energy and give it right back, and we're going to be in this tit for tat, and then I'm going to escalate things, and it's just like being in that like you're going to be tempted to do that, and maybe that's been your cycle in the past sometimes, and maybe that's been something that you've done before, but I feel like because you've got the world here, you've actually been doing an incredible amount of work in order to move out of that. And take it as it resonates. This could be the battle that you have with yourself, right? This doesn't have to be with other people. This could also be an internal struggle where you've have a tendency to fight yourself on certain issues, and maybe this week is going to bring you a trigger, as sort of attempting. It's almost like you're being tested. It's like, okay, well, here's another trigger. Are you going to be triggered and fall in, or are you going to say, you know what, I see this thing, and that's where the Ten of Swords or the King of Swords is coming in. I see this thing that normally would push me off the edge, but you know what? I've put in so much work that I can just have this sort of step back moment now. Maybe you practice mindfulness, because that's coming to mind for myself, where I'm now aware of myself more. I'm aware of my thoughts. I'm aware of my actions, to the point where, and I'm aware of my decisions and the decisions that I have, where maybe this kind of struggle thing in the past would have pushed me over the edge, and I would have been fighting, and I would have been lost within my own emotions, be this out external or internal. Um, maybe you're being triggered, and you're falling off the wagon in some kind of addiction cycle, or take it as it resonates. It doesn't have to be like that, but or you're feeling triggered to have all of these negative self-talks again, and maybe before, if you fall into that pattern, it's been harder for you to get out of that, because you just like you let it shame spiral yourself down and down and down. Well, maybe now you have the trigger coming in, but we have the King of Swords energy. So what's really cool about the King of Swords is he's a very deeply emotional person, but he's never seen that way. A lot of times, people who don't understand him can see him as being very cold and sometimes distant, and very calculated, because he's very analytical. He's the King of the Swords. So the swords are all about the mind, using your analytical thought process. And so people can confuse that as not having emotions at all, being this totally cold, robotic kind of a person. He is not at all. You see this cloak here? He's wearing this outer cape, but below is this beautiful red crimson cape. Well, that red cape represents his emotions. You can see he's very in tune with them. They cape and cloak his entire body. So he's deeply aware of his emotions. He's a very emotional being. However, you can see he's got this other cloak on the outside. So he's not so quick to share his emotions with everybody, though he does feel them very deeply. He allows himself to take the time to go off and feel his emotions by himself to their deepest extent. So if you're in this kind of struggle with, especially if it's with somebody external, take a step back, do some breathing, see the fight outside of you and walk away, and don't engage when it's not going to be beneficial. If it's just a fight, maybe take yourself out of it. And then the other thing about the King of Swords is he's not afraid to cut certain people, certain things, certain situations out of his life. So maybe, the next 7 days are bringing you the opportunity to finally see fully this kind of fight energy that might be happening. And for you to be like, you know what? I don't want to participate in this, and I'm just going to let all this stuff go. And like, you know what? I'm just going to cut this out. I'm going to cut these people out. I'm going to cut this situation out because I don't need it in my life, and it's not going to help me to get into this slog when, you know, I know for a fact that's just going to hurt me when I don't want to be hurt right now, you know? And maybe I am hurt, so I'm going to take myself aside and nurture myself, be very kind and gentle with myself because I see that maybe I'm deeply hurting about this situation, but I'm not going to then take that and, you know, put in the final blow and throw a knife into the situation and let that hurt my own personal karma. You know, if somebody's coming at you, you know, that's their karma. I firmly believe in karma, and karma is sort of the idea that our actions have reverberating energy outside of ourselves through space and time. And you know, it's almost, karma is almost cause and effect, right? That every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And so if somebody is coming at you with an incredible amount of negativity, if you come back at them at negativity, that negativity that you put out there is going to come back to you again, you know? Whereas if you don't engage, if you find a way to disengage, protect yourself. Always protect yourself, right? Like if you need to protect yourself in the moment in a certain situation because something terrible is happening, do 100%. I'm not telling you not to protect yourself, but you know, if you can remove yourself from the situation in a way that's nonviolent or, you know, non-aggressive or however that's comfortable for you, you know, it might be a better situation for you in the long run because, you know, you're taking the high road, right? This is very much this week, you're going to have the opportunity to take the high road in a situation instead of taking the low road. And by doing so, you're going to graduate onto the next level, basically, long and short. Wow, this has been a pretty powerful reading so far. And we're just at the beginning. So, next we have 3 cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck. Pretty cool deck from the 70s, I really like. We've got the 5 of Cups. Yeah. Totally in it. We've got the 2 of Pentacles. Yes. This is just, yeah. Everything that we've been saying is just being reflected here. I love it when that happens. And we have the King of Swords again. So, wow, double confirmation. You've got the King of Swords twice. So, you really, really are, like I was saying before, you're being encouraged to take the route of the King of Swords. What's else about the King of Swords I haven't talked about? He, like I said, he's very analytical, right? So use your own power of analysis to work through the situation this week. Give yourself the time and the space to be able to think things through. You cannot think things clearly in the moment if you feel heated, you feel emotional, you feel, you know, like you're just gonna hash out. That's not the time and the space and the way to think things through. When in reality, you have the ability to take a step back and really think about things before you act. So really take the time to think before you act this week, within the next 7 days. That's going to be so important for this situation. With the 2 of Pentacles here, that talks about striking a balance, right? It's normally a juggler who's juggling those 2 pentacles. So it's like you're really going to need to take a balanced approach to your life this week, particularly in this situation because there is this kind of struggle fighting energy going on here. It's like, you know, be gentle with yourself. If you need some self-care, do it. It's so important. Take care of yourself this week. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure that, you know, if you need that ice cream this week, you know, and like if it's not going to set you out, like if that's not what this is about, right? Like if it's not some kind of, you know, like I said, there might be some kind of addictive tendencies here. Like don't fall off the wagon if that's where you're at. But, you know, like it's up to you. It's your body. Like, if you feel like you need that ice cream, then do it. You know, I don't know. Anyway, I don't mean to say that. Anyway, what's interesting though is it's like it's gonna strike that balance with it. You know, like everything in moderation. So you know, like I said, it's exactly that. It's like if you need ice cream, take some, but don't eat, you know, the whole pint or don't eat the whole canister. Right? It's like find that balance. Um, and then with the 5 of Cups there, it does talk about this perspective shift that I think, like I opened with. I was opening with that perspective shift of kind of what you focus on is what is important. The 5 of Cups is all about that message. It's got this idea. It's normally kind of depicted as the grief card, but what's interesting about it is it's normally it's a man who is crying over these 3 cups that have spilt in front of him, and he's incredibly sad because these cups have fallen and they're gone, and they were cups that he coveted and they were really great, and it's a shame that they're gone. And so it talks about the very real nature of grief, and that it's when terrible things happen, there's really no sugarcoating it. Like, terrible things are terrible and they happen in life, and it's important to allow yourself, like I said, with that emotion, feeling those emotions. It's important to allow yourself to feel those emotions very deeply and to be present with them and to allow them to come into yourself and into your life when they happen. But what's really great about the Five of Cups is it's like, once you do that, and you do need to do that work, it's important to really acknowledge and see those feelings, like I've been saying in this reading. Once you do that acknowledgement, what's great is that behind that man is normally depicted two cups that are still upright. And so it's like, yes, these cups have fallen, those three cups have fallen, but not everything is gone from his life. And in fact, he actually has two cups that are still remaining. And with those two cups, it presents the opportunity to find gratitude in life. Like, okay, yes, I've lost these things, but look at what remains in my life. And in fact, now I have the ability to see and cherish these things that are present in my life all the more, because I know how temporary and fleeting life can be. And so I'm so grateful to have these beautiful, wonderful things that are here. And at the same time, maybe there were five things that were difficult for me to juggle before. And now, because three things have left, I have more time and energy to focus on the things that are important to me, that really matter to me. And so, use that in this situation this week, where if things are falling out of your life, if a terrible situation has occurred and, and you are fighting somebody, or you are losing something, or, something like that's happening, allow yourself to start to see, well, what is actually remaining? Maybe these things are leaving my life for a reason, and there are some things that are left that are more important, and I can actually use that to honor myself and cherish myself as I move forward in life. So next up, we have three cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. And we've got the Magician. Wow. Oh, so powerful. We've got the Father of Pentacles, which is the King of Pentacles in most decks. Three kings in this reading. And we've got the Mother of Pentacles. Wow, which is the Queen of Pentacles in most decks. So that's interesting too. You have both the King and the Queen of Pentacles. So it's like, wow. So as you move out of this, as you allow yourself to take the high road and graduate onto the next level, you're allowing like this new beginning. Well, this ability it's like to manifest abundance, right? And it could be the pentacles are about the material world, and they can be about money. A lot of times we tend to think about the pentacles in terms of money, because before the Rider Waite Smith deck and the occultists of England in the 1890s who took tarot to the level that we're at now, where they use it as divination. Before that, they were the coins. It was the coins. So, this is a coin that is normally depicted on this in the older decks. And so, it's interesting. Because of that, we tend to think of them as money, right? But it's also about the material world in general. So it's about stable housing. It's about um, healthy bodies. The pentacles are about not having lack. They're about being in abundance, which doesn't have to just necessarily mean being physically, materially wealthy, but simply like not having need, having all of your needs met without having to worry. And so it's like you're opening up for yourself in this next 7 days as you graduate onto this next level with the world here. You're opening yourself up to the ability to be in the energy where you just don't have to worry as much. And maybe that's what this is leaving behind, right? Maybe this struggle is within and it is internal, and it's like it's your own anxieties and your own fears. And maybe the next 7 days are giving you the opportunity to graduate on to a new level of thinking about life, where you don't have to be worried as much about where your next meal is coming from, or am I going to be able to pay rent on time? You know, that kind of thing. Maybe you're leaving a situation that was unsustainable for you, and you're going to be opening up to an ability that things will work out in your favor more. And with that magician card here too, it's like you're opening yourself up to your own personal power. I think that's the biggest thing. Maybe you're going to start, this situation, even though it might seem kind of ridiculous, or awful in the moment, maybe it will open yourself up to realizing just how what your own personal power truly is and what your own ability really is. And so this kind of situation, though difficult, you might come into contact with your own strength and your own resilience, and be in awe of it, and start to understand just how much power you truly have over your own life, and that you have the ability to create your own being. And so with that knowledge, that gives you the ability to say, you know what, I want to create this sense of stability in my life, and I'm open to doing the necessary steps and work that will take me there. And if that means cutting certain people and situations out, I am 100% willing to do that work. And if I do that, great. Maybe that'll open me up to something new. So yeah. Anyway, final card comes from the Herbal Tarot, and this is the only card I peeked at. I didn't peek at any of these others. I don't normally, but I peeked at this just so I could read from the book. I've got a book about magic and medicine of plants that I'm going to read from, because this Herbal Tarot has an herb on it, and it's the Fool. Oh, right, yay! And it's ginseng, right? I forgot that it was the Fool. I only looked at the ginseng. That's great, because the Fool is like it's new beginnings. So it's like what you're opening up to is this sort of innocent. Look, at the sun is shining on him. This innocence, a new beginning in life is coming into you because of this. So it's like you got to go through this final chapter, and it might be hard, but remember that on the other side there's some really beautiful things, and keep that imagery of the Five of Cups here. So let me read about ginseng from this book here, just so you have a little bit more information. This, like I said, it's a magic and medicine of plants. It's this Reader Digest book that I've been meaning to read for a long time, and I realized that with this Herbal Tarot, I can kind of learn more about herbs myself too. So let's see. The use of ginseng as a tonic and panacea probably originated in China thousands of years ago. Chemical analysis has shown that ginseng contains a number of vitamins, minerals, and medically active substances called saponins. These would account for ginseng's apparent ability to increase resistance to stress and increase mental and physical capacity. Wow. Like other counterparts in North America, Chinese herbalists used many cooking herbs. Okay, so that's going on about many things. So that's what he's talking about ginseng. That's actually, I think, really applicable. You actually may want to take some ginseng. I know there's ginseng tea. You could look into that, or uh, there's also ginseng um, herbal supplements you can take, like vitamins, but supplements. There's ginseng. You can find them at the pharmacy. You might want to take that this week, because it has that clarity of mind, like the King of Swords that we were talking about, and increase resistance to stress, right? So that might actually help you gain a sense of clarity and stability this week. Take some ginseng. Really, really helpful in that. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not telling you any kind of medical advice, so take all of that with a grain of salt. I have personally taken ginseng before, and it really does kind of give you a little bit of a natural boost in mental energy and clarity. I can subscribe to that just for my own testing, but look into things before you ingest any kind of herb. Because I am not an herbalist nor a doctor. So anyway, that was my reading for you. I'm going to read from the back of this Goldfinch card now. It says, I would like to paint the way a bird sings. It's a Claude Monet. My camera just died, but I'm going to just finish this reading out here because we're done. So bear with me with the black screen, friends. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I am super thankful to have you with me. If you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It really does help me out. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000. When we get there, the more subscribers I have, the more I will be able to support this channel more, and then the more that the channel supported, the more often I'm going to be able to post. So just Yeah, it really does help me out. And if you would like a private reading with me, they are available on my website. You can find that at www.junodrum.com. Feel free to check out the Instagram as well at Junodrum Tarot. I've started to do these daily pick a card, well, daily card of the day readings where I have a card of the day and give a little bit of a mini reading from that card. That has been really fun to do. So check that out on Instagram at Junodrum Tarot. Anyway, friends, I hope you have a wonderful day and I will catch you later. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So, this is going to be the reading for what can you expect in the next 7 days? What's going to happen 7 days from now? This is your next week. What can you expect? What are the energies? What are some understandings, some ideas? So, let's dive right in. You've got the hummingbird, which to me, hummingbirds are they're a very spiritual animal to me, I think. They tend to be one of those signs and symbols for really connecting in with the universe, with spirit, with angels, guides, beings, entities of love, whatever your conception of the greater um, connection of universal energies and love. I tend to find hummingbirds a very clear and key signal and signature of that. So we can say with this hummingbird card that the next 7 days are going to bring you potentially some sort of connection, some kind of understanding, connected to something larger than yourself. And I just got a horn out there for confirmation. So I feel like it's the next 7 days are going to bring you an opportunity to really connect into your own personal spiritual nature and whatever that means for you. Spirituality is a lot more open than traditional religions because it's your personal connection to the universe, to God, to connection to the interconnected cosmic love that interweaves all of our being. Whatever you want to conceive of it, it's up to you. It's your own personal connection to everything because we're all kind of our own personal portal into those things. At least that's what I think. And I feel that something about the 7 days coming up for you is going to bring about that understanding. I got a fly buzzing around here, so there's some potential. I have a lot of flies going on in my apartment right now. It's about time for me to set some traps. Anyway, though, we'll see. If I see a fly again, that might be a part of your signs as well. Fly symbolism tends to be about every now and then. Yeah, and I'm getting horned. So, yeah, this is an important message for you. Um, Flies are all about little minor annoyances that happen in our lives and sort of sometimes they can be about negative thinking as well, negative self-talk. That's when I see a fly, sometimes it's like, especially when it's associated to a string of thoughts that are going through my head, sometimes for me that's a very clear symbol of like, oh, maybe this is something I should be watching. Like, oh, maybe I'm telling myself a story that isn't true. And so maybe that's a part of your own personal connection to the universe or to spirit or to, your higher self, higher beings, whatever. Maybe that's a part of what this next 7 days are going to bring you is like you're going to start seeing signs in your own personal life that are highlighting the thoughts that go through your head that maybe are not helpful for you. And maybe you'll start to see some ways of kind of changing your mind and changing your opinion about those, trying to be more mindful of the thoughts that go through your head. So anyway, let's take a look at some cards here. We've got 3 cards from um, this one is the Smith Waite deck, and it is the 3 of Pentacles. Oh yeah, the 10 of Wands. Okay, and the Empress. Okay, yeah, wow. So yeah, the Empress is also she's the divine feminine, which can be sort of this receptive psychic sort of energy sometimes. She's like a mother. You see, she's pregnant, and so she's got that sort of the birth of a new idea, the birth of a new understanding. Maybe the next 7 days are going to bring you, as this interconnectedness is like you're going to see yourself more connected to the things that are around you, and the things that are within you, and you'll be able to start bringing out a better understanding of what it is you want to do, right? And what it is you don't want to do. With this 10 of wands here, it's sort of like the 10 of wands is about carrying more burdens than you need to be. The 10 of wands, he's struggling with all of these wands, trying to carry them to the town that's behind him here. And the thing about it is, he doesn't need to be carrying all of those wands. In fact, if he were to put them down and go ask for help from the village to take them together, they probably would, out of a lot of kindness, they'd probably be like, yeah, of course we'll help you. But for whatever reason, he thinks in his head that he can't do that. And so a lot of times the 10 of wands tends to be about, we're carrying too many burdens that we actually don't need to be carrying, and that there's an ability to put some of these things that we're trying to juggle down. And I feel like the next 7 days are going to bring you this opportunity to start seeing those. And I think that a lot of that is in the mind as well, because we have that fly. I do feel like you're going to start seeing the things that you are thinking about that you don't need to be, in the sense that you'll start to be seeing sort of all of the excuses and reasons that you've been giving yourself to not make something happen. You'll start to be able to see those a little bit more clearly, and to start to feel more connected to the infinite possibility of the universe that exists all around you. And with that Empress, like I said, she's the divine feminine, so it's all about being open to things coming to you. So maybe you've been stuck in a cycle where you've been trying to force things into being. You've been trying to push and push and push to try to make something happen. And with that 10 of wands, maybe it's something that you've been trying to do all on your own. Yeah. Okay, this is totally it. And maybe it's a project or a thing that you're working on that actually would do much better to be working with others. And then we have the 3 of Pentacles here, which can talk about working with other people as well as building a strong foundation for something. So that's exactly what I think is going on here. Is it's like you're trying to carry all of those wands on your own, and in fact, there are people who need to be on this journey with you to create what you're trying to make, or do what you're trying to do, build the business you're trying to build, or whatever it is you're doing. Take this as it resonates. There are people that are out there who can help you, who want to help you, probably in, like they're ready to join in on a project just like the one that you're trying to bring into this world. And so I feel like you need to be open to receiving the help that wants to come into your life. And you need to make yourself open to receiving, with that Empress card, the people who want to come into your life who can help with this. So the next 7 days are going to, you're going to have a lot of signs and synchronicities lining you up to try to bring in the people who can really help you on these things that you've been trying to work on. And I see that being really beneficial for you. So let's keep looking at the cards here. We've got 3 cards now from the 1JJ Swiss deck. And we've got the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. And we've got the 3 of Cups. Okay. So definitely, the 3 of Cups is, it can be celebration, celebratory, but it's also about coming together with friends. So it's like there are people that there are friends out there for you, whether you know about them yet or not. There's this energy of celebrating with other people, and 2 threes here, so 3 3, um, building this strong foundation with people who are on the same page as you. They want to come into your life, and I think that you've been a little hesitant with that, with the 4 of Pentacles here. That can be about playing it safe and being super protected and guarded. And so maybe you've had some really difficult situations in the past, especially with this Queen of Pentacles. When she's in the reverse, the Queen, and I don't really read reversals, but I feel like this is applicable to your situation. When she's in the reverse, she tends to be over giving. She's a very kind and generous woman, and she's always ready to give to those who need. But when it's in the reverse, it can be this sort of give, 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 over giving energy without really knowing how to have boundaries with people and without really understanding that you don't have to be available 100% to everyone who asks you, that you can protect your energy on your own. See, with her in the upright, she's very much aware of that, that airplane adage. I always refer back to this, but it's so important in life. It's like such an important life lesson of when the oxygen masks come down. If a plane is crashing, you must secure your own oxygen mask first before helping anyone else. Because if you don't, you're going to pass out. And then not only will you not be able to help anybody else, but you will become the burden on everyone else because they'll have to help you. Um, or, yeah, whatever. So because of that, I feel like maybe in the past I think that you're a very generous person and you do give a lot, but I think maybe you have not had any boundaries with people and you have completely overgiven to many, many, many people in different situations, and that may make you very distrustful of people, and maybe you have a difficult time trusting, and so you've been very secure in protecting yourself, which is it's good to protect yourself, and you should. But I think maybe you've gone to the other extreme, and so now you're being asked to try to let that go a little bit and be open to the fact that not everybody is out there to take over you, right? Not everyone out there is out there to get you, right? Some people are out there to want to work with you and want to help you, and some people are going to be exactly where you are, and some people are going to be on the same page and the same mindset that you are in. And so be open to receiving, with this Empress card, be open to receiving those people into your life. Be open enough that you can let the people in and have boundaries with people. Have strong boundaries, right? You don't have to give everyone everything to everyone. You can let people into your life in whatever capacity you're comfortable with. And if that means you're not going to maybe go so far and be as open so quickly, another horn for confirmation, and lay all your cards on the table all at once with people, you don't have to do that. You can slowly introduce somebody into your life. That's totally fine. But just be open to it. Be open to letting somebody in who clearly wants to help, and allow that help to come into your life. You don't have to do it all alone. And in fact, the only way you're going to be able to make the things that you want to have happen is to be open to receiving from someone else, is to be open to allowing that sort of thing to come into your life. Next up, we have 3 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot, and we have the Mother of Swords, which is the Queen of Swords in most decks, so 2 queens, and the Empress. A lot of this divine feminine, powerful feminist energy coming in here. You don't have to be a woman to be watching this. It's just that's the energy coming in here. We have the Emperor, so there's some masculine energy too. That's fun. You have both the Emperor and the Empress. That's great. You have the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So this reading is about striking a balance between those two forces. And then we have the 6 of Wands, which is the victory card. So that's great. So, whatever is happening in your life and in your situation this week, you're going to be victorious. And so this is the next 7 days. So, obviously 7 days is a short time frame. So be open to meeting new people this week. You don't have to become their best friend. They don't have to be your best friends this week, right? You can, like I said, you can have boundaries with people and introduce people slowly into your life. But this is just take the small steps. The universe is asking you to take small steps into allowing new people into your life, and you're going to be victorious from doing so. With this Mother of Swords, it's great to know that the thing about the Queen of Swords is, and the King of Swords is very similar. They're very similar cards to each other. The Queen of Swords, she's a very, very emotional person, but she hides, or she doesn't hide, but she doesn't really show her emotions to others. Because of that, people tend to think of her as being very cold, being very distant. But in reality, it's not that she's cold, it's just that she feels her feelings on her own, and she doesn't allow them to dictate her actions. And then she's very calm and collected and analytical when she's finally ready to make some choices in her life and move from that kind of perspective. So when she comes into this reading, it's asking you to as you are open with people, as you let new people into your life, remember, you don't have to, what is it, show all of your cards on your sleeve or something like that, whatever that adage is. You don't have to be open with people and be ready to meet people and be ready to bring people into your life, but you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be totally and completely, you don't have to let go of any and all discernment when you're letting new people into your life. Be discerning. If somebody doesn't seem right, use your intuition. If it seems like this isn't a great situation, be willing to leave. But you don't have to put yourself in a situation where it's difficult to leave a situation. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a tricky situation, be ready and willing to leave. If it's a wonderful situation, be ready and open to receive, right? It's about striking that balance between those. And with the emperor and the empress here as well, this reading is asking you within a 7 days period to allow yourself to open up to the possibility of having a balance between the masculine and feminine forces in your life as well. So we do need to be taking action, right? We do, in order to make things happen in our lives, we do have to physically take direct action in our lives to bring something in. So action is always required. However, you do need to be open with that Empress card to receive things as well, that not everything needs to be in your hands. You don't need to push things, right? The universe wants to work with you to make life happen. You don't have to do it on your own. So be willing and open to going with the flow when that's required, and rolling with the punches when that's required, and be open to spontaneous things popping into your life as well. So it's a direct mix of both forces, and that's going to really help you this week. So pile number 3, we're just about wrapping up. I've got one card. This is the only card out of this reading that I've peeked at. I don't like to peek at the cards before doing a reading, but I did for these because this comes from the Herbal Tarot, and I've got a little book on herbs that I'm going to read from, just so I can give you a little bit of herb wisdom for the next 7 days as well. Maybe this is an herb that can help you in your life for the next 7 days. And we have Justice, and the herb is plantain, not to be confused with plantains, the banana-like fruit, but this is the herb plantain. What's interesting, this is the Justice card. I didn't think about this, but Justice really does fit in with this reading because it's all about that divine balance, right? She's holding the scales here. So I do feel like there's a larger balance that you're being asked to entertain this week, that there is a universal balance of forces that can really truly help you move through life this week. So let's read from the book here about plantain, the herb. I'm reading from this fun little Reader's Digest book, Magic and Medicine of Plants. I'd like to learn more about herbalism as well. I do have a garden, or at least I have plants in my house, and so this is sort of my way of learning these things. Is sorry is by teaching you as well, right? Sorry, coming to the page. Here we go. Plantains. Carts creaked over you, queens rode over you, bridges bridled over you, bulls breathed over you. All these you withstood. So may you withstand poison and infection. Thus, an old Anglo Saxon magical poem speaks of plantain, calling it the mother of herbs. The leaves in the Plantago genus contain tannin and thus are astringent or able to draw tissues together. They also help to stop bleeding. In old world traditions, plantains figured as a remedy for cuts, sores, burns, snake and insect bites, and inflammations. A tea brewed from the seeds, which have been high which have a high mucilage content, was a widespread folk remedy for diarrhea, dysentery, and bleeding from mucous membranes. Okay, interesting. Plantains came to the New World with the settlers. A report from Virginia dated 1687 states that Indians, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's look at some uses. Plantains have similar medicinal property. Oh, yeah. Plantains have similar medicinal properties, which are due to the high mucilage and tannin content. The soothing effect afforded by the seeds is the most important medicinal quality of these herbs. So they have this ability to withstand things, right? And they have this sort of soothing quality. So I feel like for you, this herb is showing you the quality within you to withstand any difficulty and any challenges, right? So, you have survived 100% of the challenges that you've faced so far, right? Because you're here listening to this today. So, what that means is that you have the ability to bring about any change, any circumstance, anything. So, as you move through your days for the next 7 days, really keep in mind that you have the ability to make whatever you want in life happen. And it looks like you're going to be introduced to some new people, or reintroduced to some old people that you already know, who want to help you on your journey in a way that is an equal exchange, not anybody taking too much from you or you giving too much to a situation, but a very equal exchange in people and situations, and an equal exchange between you and spirit with that hummingbird there. So our final thing here is going to be a quote from the hummingbird, and it is, "Beauty is a nectar which intoxicates the soul." T.C. Henley. All right. So that's that for you. I hope that this reading resonates. I'm going to leave you there. Let me know in the comments what you think either way. I really do love hearing from everybody. A huge thanks to all the new subscribers. I'm so thankful to have you with me on this journey. If you are new to the channel or you haven't done so already, please subscribe. It really does help. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000, which is so exciting. That's my big, big, big goal I've been dreaming of since I started the channel. So that would make things helpful. The more people who subscribe, the more I'm able to get from the channel, then the more that I'm able to create more videos. And, hopefully I'll be able to get to twice a week at some point with it. So, anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like a private reading with me, you can find them on my website, www.junodrome.com. And check out the Instagram. I'm getting better and better at posting a card a day on there. So there's little cards of a day with a little mini message every single day. So tune into that as well. That's at Junodrome Tarot. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will catch you later. See ya. Hi there, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be your reading on what can you expect over the next 7 days. So what is the next week, the next 7-day period going to bring you? What are some things to keep in mind? What are the things you're working on? That sort of thing. So you chose the pile with this beautiful night blooming flower, right? So the symbolism there is, even in the darkest night, there is beautiful, wonderful, loving things to be found. So don't allow any kind of dark, rough patches you might be going through keep you from finding beautiful things along the way as you are coming out of dark, challenging situations. Having a mind for gratitude can truly help you change your situation and move into a more heart-centered way of life. So let's take a look at what the cards are going to say for you. There's a message on the back of that card that we will read at the end, but for now we're going to do some tarot here. So we have 4 cards from the Smith-Waite deck. We have the Page of Swords. We have the 7 of Cups. The Page of Pentacles. Wow. And the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. So for you, pile number 4, you're definitely, for the next 7 days, you're in a period of a new beginning, for sure. Or you're at the beginning of a long journey that maybe you've been at the beginning of this journey for a minute now. Maybe you've already been in it for a little bit, but regardless of whether the next 7 days are boom, starting it, or, you're still in the beginner energy here, this is definitely a period where you have the ability to create something for yourself. And the next 7 days are really going to open that up to you. Just that knowledge of being in a position where kind of anything can happen here. With the Page of Swords, I see that you've taken recently taken a new perspective on things, on life, on your situation. Something has happened that has brought you into thinking of something in a new way. And a part of that may be a new environment as well. With the Page of Pentacles, the swords are all about the mind and the mental body. The pentacles are all about the material world. They can be about money, but they can also be about places that we live, our health. So something has happened that, maybe you've moved relatively recently or changed jobs, or you've had a new start in your physical world recently in some capacity. Maybe you started school, maybe, whatever it is for you. There's something new that has happened in your life recently that the next 7 days are really going to be opening you up to. Something about this next 7 day period is really bringing that all kind of home to you. And, with that comes kind of this interesting place that you're in where really anything can happen with that Seven of Cups. It's like you have many choices ahead of you. And in fact, I think that at this point, with you being where you are in the journey on that, it's actually better for you to keep your options open, to keep yourself on a path of being totally open to whatever's coming, being totally okay with what's happening, and allowing yourself to be open to receiving some inspiration and ideas um, down the road a little bit to give you a better understanding of where you're going. So I think maybe you have maybe a lot of ideas on what you want to do, and you have a lot of perspective on certain things and projects and stuff that you'd like to do, and maybe you're having a little bit of trouble kind of deciding. Um, and because of that, with this Four of Pentacles, I think maybe you've been kind of playing things a little safe because you don't exactly know how to move forward. And I think that might be an okay place to be. But just be open to allowing yourself to have inspiration to move forward. Allow yourself to be able to have new ideas and new perspectives, and like with that Page of Swords there, and be open to going to new places and undertaking new environments in order to fully understand. I feel very exploratory energy here. I feel like the next 7 days are going to open you up to the ability to kind of explore life a little bit more in whatever capacity makes sense to you. Or it's like, maybe you've been playing things safe for a long time and you've been afraid to explore your environment. You've been afraid to explore new places or new ideas or new things. And maybe you've kind of been stuck in a routine for a long time. And the next 7 days are opening you up to an ability to start changing up your routine a little bit more. And, it's okay to experiment. It's okay to not have everything figured out and allow yourself to kind of experiment with life and start to see things from an open perspective where, who cares about, like, you don't need to have everything figured out. I'll put it that way. And 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 you're allowed to just go off and say, like, oh, that's something that intrigues me a little bit. Let me go see what that's about. And then you can go and do that, and like, it's not the end of the world when you're in that to be like, oh, you know what, actually this isn't really for me. Now I know a lot more about this thing. I actually don't like it so much, and I'd like to go explore this other thing now. I'm going to go do that. And like, being open to allowing that to happen is actually an okay thing. I think a lot of times we tell ourselves, in society for sure tells us that we kind of have to have everything figured out, and that it's not okay to not know what we want, and it's not okay, like, we have to have a whole plan, and we have to have everything written out, and I have this 5-year 10-year plan of everything that I'm going to do, and that's what I'm doing, and I can't deviate from the plan because it's written down here, and that's that, right? And in reality, like, life doesn't have to work that way. And in fact, life can be real sad when we feel stuck in that, and that can be we can become really depressed when we force ourselves to follow a plan that maybe 6 versions ago of ourselves made that plan, and that just doesn't fit life anymore for us. And you know what, that's okay. This reading is the next 7 days in general, they're going to open you up to the understanding that you don't have to be so tied to former versions of yourself. You don't have to be so tied to former plans, former understandings, and you can actually just let things flow however they need to. And maybe you'll explore a new idea about things. And maybe you had an idea for doing something a long time ago, and you're finally getting around to starting that thing and it doesn't quite work the way that it used to, well, be open to adapting it to where you are now and let it become something new and take inspiration from that former idea and make it something else. Take it into a new realm and be open with that. So yeah, there's that. Let's keep looking at the cards before I just channel the whole reading away, which is great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do love doing this. So we have 3 cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck. This is a fun deck from the 70s. I really like. Wow, 7 of Cups again. That's fun. Whenever a card comes up twice in the reading, that's kind of the most important message. The Ace of Cups, yeah, definitely new beginnings. You have a new beginning kind of understanding now in 3 of the suits, which is pretty fun. And then we have the Moon. Yes. Okay. So the Moon aligns very much with everything that I've just been saying. You don't need to have all the answers. And it lines up with this card too, being that nighttime. You don't have to have all the answers to move forward in life. You don't have to have everything figured out to start taking steps in the direction you know you want to go. You don't. You don't have to have everything figured out. In fact, it's better to not have a full plan because, like I was saying, you don't know who you're going to be in 5 years. You might be in a completely different place. And if you were to try to keep yourself exactly where you are now, it's just going to lead to suffering in the long run. When in reality, it's much kinder to ourselves to be open to allowing things to be whatever they need to be. And I feel like for you, you have the choices to move through this lifetime however you need to. You have it's like an open book to explore whatever you want to explore. And by doing that, you jumpstart this new beginning towards following what makes you happy, right? And maybe you don't know what's going to make you happy yet, and that's okay. This reading, the next 7-day period, it's encouraging you to take the time to allow whatever wants to, you know, oh, I think this might make me happy. Let me go explore that. Oh, it didn't. Well, that's okay. I'm glad I learned about that. Let me explore this other thing. Oh, this thing actually does make me happy. Let me do that now. It's like that kind of energy where it's totally fine to not know everything. And the moon talks about that extensively because with the moon card in the tarot, it's all about how there's a dark path ahead of you, right? It's nighttime. You don't have the full scope of what's ahead of you. But you're not going to quite trip and break your neck because the full moon is out. And so you're able to see ahead of you just a little bit. You're able to see the pathway ahead. You might not have everything figured out. You might not be able to see in the detail that a sunny day would give you, but you have enough detail to go off of to keep moving forward. And this reading is encouraging you to take those steps forward. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to understand every little thing that's going to happen. In fact, you're not gonna know until you get there, and trying to come up with it all in your mind ahead of time is a self-limiting thing. Ultimately, did I talk in this reading? No, that was the last reading. Ultimately, that's a self-limiting thought. And so, you don't need to limit yourself to your imagination, right? Like our imagination is infinite, but sometimes, we can imagine a future for ourselves or we can imagine what something's going to be like before we're in it. And we almost try to keep it to that exactly. And we don't allow ourselves to be open to the universe giving something that might be better, might be more fun for us, might just gel better. And so, you're really, really being encouraged to take an open perspective to allowing whatever wants to come in and not feeling so stuck on controlling something to the point where it's not going to be able to happen the way that you really want it to happen, right? Because it'll be forced and it won't work. So be open to not knowing the future, right? Be open to exploring and not needing to have everything figured out first. We've got 4 cards now from the Wild Unknown Tarot. We've got the 3 of Cups. Okay, that's fun. We've got the 2 of Cups. Wow. All right. We've got the Mother of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands in most decks. And we've got the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, like I was kind of getting that. No, that was the last reading, but interesting. You might want to check out pile number 4 because I'm having some parallels just in my mind between the two. So check out pile number 4 if it resonates. Don't worry about it if it doesn't. with that Five of Pentacles, it's interesting. You have two sequences here. You have the 4 and 5 of Pentacles, and you have the 2 and 3 of Cups. So you have a 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So 2, 3, 4, 5 is an angel number. To me, that relates to, it's very similar to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is kind of meaning like, oh, you're on the right path. You're starting this thing. You're in the right direction, and it's just step by step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you go. 2, 3, 4, 5 to me is like, oh, I'm on step 2 now. I've already done a bunch, and now I'm on step 2, and I'm on the way to moving forward. So I do feel like you've already been through a lot in the past here, right? This is a new beginning, but it's not like you're just starting out in life. I think that you've been through a lot already. And that's what's put you in this energy of trying to play it safe, because you don't want to get hurt again. With this 5 of Pentacles here, I really do feel like there's an energy of like, you've been through some difficult situations in the past, and maybe you've been through a dark night of the soul period. I'm not feeling that from this reading that you're in one now, although with that knight symbolism, you may be going through it a little bit here, or you have recently in the past, and you don't really know the full way forward. Maybe you've already gotten out of the the most the deepest and darkest and most challenging parts of your past, but you're still kind of in this limbo state where you're like, well, I don't exactly know what's going on. I don't exactly know how to move forward, and I've got some things going on, like some of that situations. And so I do feel there's a sense of encouragement to be open to allowing things to flow in whatever way they need to. With the Mother of Wands, she's the most powerful, the Queen of Wands, the most powerful manifester in the whole deck. She's able to make whatever she wants to have happen come to being. And so with her coming into this, it's like she is not afraid to follow her inspirations and her drives to wherever they're going to lead her. And like I said, you may be in this exploratory version of this right now, but rest assured, as you continue to explore your options and figure things out, I think that the road ahead will become clearer to you. And it might happen while you meeting new people, especially with both the 2 and the 3 of Cups here. The 2 of Cups can be the romance card, and I don't typically related to that, but to have the 2 and the 3 together, the 3 of Cups being celebrating with friends and letting new people into your life and being in this exploratory friendship with new people. Um, there's a potential here for new love. Oh, look at that. You have 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, that's cool. You have the Ace, 2, and the 3 of Cups in this reading as well. So 1, 2, 3, right? That I just talked about that angel number. Um, yeah, wow. So I just feel like for you, you're on a roll here, right? I think that you've already been in the worst of things, and you've already come out of it strong. And so you might be the next 7 days, you might feel like you're in a little bit of a questioning period. You feel a little bit like you're in a hang up situation, or you don't quite know what's going on, or you don't quite know how to move forward in the right way. But really trust yourself and trust your intuition on this, because I feel like you're in a period where you're meeting new people who gel with you more now than maybe people in your past did. And you have a potential to meet new people and maybe find a romantic partner at some point. If you're looking for that, don't worry about it if you're not. um, or the 2 of Cups can also talk about having a better relationship with yourself, being in this interconnected moment with your own being, where you're totally and completely aligned with yourself, and you're flowing in your own power to move things forward. So I feel like the next 7 days are going to bring you an opportunity to really connect to yourself a little bit better, and by exploring your options, exploring different creative ventures, different projects, different places, and meeting new people, exploring, maybe even countries, who knows, whatever it is for you, it's going to bring you a lot more happiness, I think, in the long run with that Ace of Cups. And you might not know, like I said, with the moon there, you might not know the full way forward, but as long as you keep trying to move forward, the more and more things will start to line up in a way that actually makes sense for you. So your final card here comes from the Herbal Tarot, and this is the only card I peeked at ahead of time because it's got an herb on it, and I'm going to read from a book on herbs just so you get some extra maybe messages from that. I don't normally peek at my cards, but I did for this just to look it up ahead of time. We have the 2 of Pentacles. So another 2, that's fun. 2, 4, 5. Well, 2 of Pentacles talks about balance. So being in a sense of balance, really connecting into your own needs, making sure your needs are met, making sure you're getting rest, making sure that you're taking care of yourself as you're trying to figure things out, not stressing too much, eating right, those kind of balance. Allow yourself to be in a balanced state. And the more that you put your physical and mental and spiritual being into balance, the more that things will start to fall into place, because it'll just feel natural and it'll just come to you, because you'll be in an open state to allow that. So now let's read about the herb here. The herb is yellow dock. So let's read in the book. I've been wanting to learn about the symbolic and magical uses and medicinal uses of herbs for a long time. So I have this book, Magic and the Medicine of Plants. And this deck in particular is really helpful for that, because it connects it to the tarot. And I already know a lot about tarot, so it's kind of fun to read up on these. So let me read this from the book. To most North Americans today, dock is known as a garden weed, and particularly tenacious one. There are more than 20 species of dock in the New World, some of them introduced from Europe. Leading members of the group are bitter dock, yellow dock, and patience dock. These vary in size, flower, fruit, and leaf, but their medicinal and culinary uses overlap. In folk usage, they are not clearly distinguished. As early as classical antiquity, herbalists knew of the dock's effectiveness as laxatives. Centuries later, in Anglo-Saxon England, physicians used a mixture of the leaves, other herbs, ale, and holy water to cure people believed to have been made ill with elf sickness by witchcraft. Another Old English folk belief holds that the crushed leaves cure nettle rash when accompanied by incantations such as the following: nettle out, dock in, dock remove, the nettle sting. By the 17th century, the tea made from dock roots was held to alleviate toothache when taken orally and to cure the itch when used to wash. The herbalist Nicholas Culpeper stated that dock extract cleared up skin blemishes. So uses, scientific studies have validated the traditional prescription of bitter dock tea as a laxative. The young leaves of bitter dock may be eaten fresh as a salad or cooked like spinach. The root yields a yellow dye. All right, so interesting. I feel like it's talking about this sort of protective, right? Of in like it helping to alleviate sort of poisons, particularly mystical ones as well. So, it's kind of like that idea that that you have the ability to any kind of toxic thing, spit it out, right? You can get rid of it. You don't have to have that in your life anymore. That's kind of what the yellow dock is talking about, and that kind of relates. Like I said, I think maybe you've already been through really difficult situations, and just check out pile number 4, because I'm just repeating pile number 4, which was about like not being afraid to let new people in because you've been trying to play it safe a little bit. They got the 4 of Pentacles as well, because maybe you've been through difficult situations with people in the past, and that has led you to not be as trusting as maybe you once were with people. But this is kind of saying like, just because you went through difficult things with people in the past, that doesn't mean that you can't allow wonderful new people into your life, right? That there aren't wonderful new people out there for you. Of course there are, right? I feel like for me personally, I feel like our world's about half and half, right? There's half the people are meh and half the people are really wonderful. And it's like, it's up to us to find the difference between the two, right? And, I wish everybody was great, but sometimes they aren't. And, that's the way things are. But some people are wonderful, and it would be an absolute shame for you to never let anybody into your life again because you went through something difficult, and there's all these wonderful, beautiful people out there, right? So yeah. Anyway, pile number 4. I'm going to leave you there. Let's read the back of this card real quick though before I finish it off. And it says, "The power of imagination makes us infinite." John Muir. Is this the pile where I talked about imagination being infinite? Is this that pile? Or was that pile number 3? I don't remember. But if this was that pile, that would be the craziest thing ever. Yeah. yeah, our imagination is absolutely infinite. So, be open to that. Anyway, pile number 4. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to everybody who is a new subscriber, and to all of you who are new to the channel who haven't subscribed, or you've been watching and you haven't done so yet. Please subscribe. It really does help. We're getting closer and closer to the goal of 1,000 subscribers, and that just brings up my whole ability to keep doing things. So yeah, that would be wonderful if you could. If you would like a private reading with me, they are available on the website at www.junodrum.com. And finally, if you want to check out the Instagram, that's pretty great too. It's at Junodrum Tarot on Instagram. I've been doing card of the day readings on Instagram. So every day I post a new card with a little mini reading. So you can find that for your daily Instagram perusal. Anyway, friends, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you later. See ya. Thanks. Bye.